You get a bed. You get a bed. Everybody gets a bed. That's right, folks. When Joe Biden's the president of the United States of America, all the kids get to live in cages. That's right. But only if they're brown. Scoop, a briefing scheduled for President Biden this afternoon, outlines the need for 20,000 beds to shelter an expected crush of child migrants crossing the U.S. Mexico border. Why it matters. The rapid influx of unaccompanied children is building into the administration's first new crisis. A presentation created by the Domestic Policy Council spells out the dimensions with nearly 40 slides full of charts and details. Driving the news. On Monday, Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas said from the White House podium that the current situation is not a crisis. Today, the president will be told the number of migrant kids is on pace to exceed the all-time record by 45%. Jeez. That's ridiculous. And the administration doesn't have enough beds. So, what's the lesson to be learned from this? Don't go easy on immigration. Well, not just that, but don't tell people the answers to the test. Why are you going to announce if the kids are unaccompanied, we're forced to take them? Why would you give people the answers to the test and expect nothing less to happen? Like I said, if I was basically going 90 miles through the desert with my daughter, I will go about 88 miles and then tell my daughter, walk 2 miles in that direction. You'll see a white person. Tell them you wanted to come to America. If they ask if you came with anybody, say no, that your dad died in the desert. And guess what? I will find you. But as long as you are within America, I will find a way. So basically, you have the Biden administration giving the answers to these illegal immigrants, and now they're taking advantage of the system. And now, unaccompanied child migration as a 45% increase from the all-time high. It doesn't make any sense. Well, it makes perfect sense, but it doesn't make any sense that the Biden administration is confused by this. They're, oh my goodness. Well, why is this happening, guys? Well, it's happening because you guys are stupid. Facing the growing numbers, the Department of Health and Human Services, which oversees the network of child migrant shelters, is planning to change its coronavirus protocols to make room for an additional 2,000 kids and teens, according to a source with direct knowledge of the presentation and a second congressional source. Even with new shelters and loosened COVID-19 restrictions, the administration projects it will fall short of its needed by a couple thousand. A DHS spokesperson did not immediately respond to an email seeking a comment. An HHS spokesperson referred the request to the White House, which declined comment. This is bananas. DHS currently projects 117,000 unaccompanied child migrants crossing the border this year. 117,000 in a year, guys. That is bananas. A large number of them are teenagers. Just last month, 6,000 migrants between 16 and 17 were caught. So that's about half, right? So 6,000 times 12, that's 72. That's about 60 to 70% are older teenagers. This is disturbing. 120,000. So over the course of Biden's presidency, you can see 500,000 unaccompanied children come into the United States through Joe Biden's policies. That's bananas. That's half of the population that in the city I live. That's crazy. That's crazy talk on so many levels. And don't pretend to be surprised. When you are tolerant of crime, crime will occur. That's the problem with unadulterated tolerance. If you're too tolerant, things like this happen. Let's jump over to MSN. Trump falsely claims in CPAC speech that he could beat Democrats for a third time. So I don't really know if you can fact check a joke, but they sure are trying. Trump is living rent-free in the minds of all these Democrats, and it's delicious. Former President Trump continued to repeat a false claim that the election was stolen. I may even decide to beat them for a third time. The crowd went nuts with that. It was probably one of the funniest things I've heard yesterday. I may even decide, or I already said that, Trump lost both the Electoral College and the popular vote in 2020. Why would that matter? Why would it matter if he lost the electoral vote? Or why would it matter if he lost the popular vote? He lost the popular vote in 2016, and he was still number 45, baby. or visit the business section of Insider for more stories. So the thing about there's no such thing as a national popular vote. Just stop listening to people. It doesn't make any sense. That's not the way the country is designed, because guess what? The founding fathers understood that eventually you'll have high or densely populated urban areas that will outweigh the farmland, but the farmland still deserves its representation, because those urban spaces wouldn't exist if it weren't for the rural areas. So that's important. It's important to strike a balance. Former President Donald Trump said on Sunday, continued to repeat false claim that the election was stolen over a month after leaving the White House. These articles are just written so poorly. During Trump's headlining appearance at the Conservative Political Action Conference in Florida, Trump immediately lit into President Joe Biden, calling his tenure the most disastrous first month of any president in modern history. While alluding to a possible 2024 presidential campaign, the former president still refused to acknowledge his election loss, which he spent months trying to overturn through various election pressure campaigns against GOP officials across the country. So, what I'm going to say is this. The dude makes a joke and you can see the reaction. You have Time Magazine say, "We fortified the election," right? And then so when Donald Trump says, "Hey, the election," when he refuses to acknowledge his election loss, maybe he refuses to acknowledge it because he feels, again, one person's fortified is another person's rigged, is another person's fixed, is another person's cheated. If you fortify a game while the game is in progress, in order for you to win, in order to stack the deck, you're going to have the person who loses basically say, something's not legitimate. And then you brag about it after the new president takes office. And then you basically confirm what everybody thought to begin with. So you can't fact check a joke. But you can definitely go, well, if you were going to fact check Trump's claims that basically he refuses to acknowledge his election loss and the claims behind it, you would have to kind of go with mixture after that Times article, because you have people coming out saying Joe Biden wouldn't have won if it wasn't for my fortifying the election on his behalf. Well, that sounds an awful lot like stacking the deck. But of course, no one's going to acknowledge the truth if you're a Democrat, I suppose. So, NJ.com, this mayor uses flying robots to catch knuckleheads, and we love it. No, I don't love it. Other mayors, take note. The mayor of Elizabeth, New Jersey, is using a shiny new toy to nab the knuckleheads. In his city, which alone has nearly 4,000 cases of coronavirus and at least 200 deaths so far, Chris Bollwage has announced plans to deploy talking drones to ensure that people are following the rules on social distancing. This sounds like CCP tactics because China was doing this. This is bananas. Democrats are bananas. These swooping robots with wailing sirens will surveil public property only, his police say, not sunbathers in their backyards. Yeah, I'm sure. Just like the NSA weren't basically looking at people's nudes that they were texting one another until they were caught spanking it in the back office. These swooping robots already said that. It's not a bad idea for state parks either, which the governor just reopened. This is about stopping big gatherings, the pop-up block parties, and the buffoonery without running the risk of getting officers sick. It shouldn't be limited to cities like Elizabeth. Most people have had it with these jackasses. Our governor put it, and so have we. Instead of angry folks leaning out their car windows to yell at the worst offenders, why shouldn't it be the mayor's scolding voice blasted from an unmanned aerial vehicle? The most important thing you can do to fight this virus is to stay at home. These drones are going to alert people to move away from each other if they are congregating. This is not a joke. It is extremely serious. No, it's called the freedom to assemble. It's called your First Amendment right to freedom of assembly. If you're going to do it on the street where I pay my tax dollars, guess what? You can go screw yourself, because I am using my First Amendment right for freedom of assembly and we're having a cookout. And if you have a problem with that, well, you can kiss my butt. At a certain point, these dictators, these fascists, because this is fascism. I'm going to send a drone onto your house to where you live, where you're having a cookout, because we think there's too many people and we're going to tell you to disperse. No, you can go get you can go screw yourself. Because guess what? This is America is built behind the Constitution, the freedom of speech, the freedom of the press, the freedom of assembly, the freedom to own a gun, the freedom to drink. This is America. Don't take away people's rights. Because you'll have sheep, you'll have Democrat sheep go, well, I'm going to stay inside and just watch CNN. I'm going to watch Brian Stelter lie on TV. It's fine because Dr. Fauci is God. But then you're going to have people say, no, enough is enough. And eventually you're going to see some of these containment camps start popping up, and you're going to see conservatives start getting thrown in there because they're going to start saying enough is enough. When is enough going to be enough? And you're going to have, there's starting to get a big divide in this country. You have the beta intellectuals who basically are weak of will, but smart of mind, I suppose, if you even want to call them smart, because they can't even think for themselves. They can speak clearly. They can, have a train of thought, but they don't really know what they're doing. They don't know their freedoms. They think the government gives them their freedoms. No, the freedoms from the Constitution that's laid out in there is basically saying these are God-given rights. We're just basically saying the government cannot take these rights away. Those are the only positive rights, or actually negative rights in the Constitution. The government doesn't give it to you. The government just can't legislate it, basically, is what those freedoms are. But then you have the conservatives go, well, I may not be as smart as the beta male, but I'm going to do my thing. And if you encroach on my right, then I will stand up to the government because I'm an American. That's what Americans do. Americans stand up for what's right, both legally and morally. Support and defend the Constitution of the United States from enemies both foreign and domestic. So this guy's acting as a domestic enemy by trying to take our constitutional rights away. And this is going to create a problem. You're going to see people no longer tolerate their freedoms being stepped on. And I'm scared of what the consequences of those actions are going to be, because you already have Democrats talking about drone striking conservatives. This is America. Allow people to do their things. If I have a cookout in my backyard, that does not affect you. If you feel like it affects you, maybe you should go seek help from a psychiatrist, because there's probably something wrong with you. Continue with the story. And if you're doing something freaky in public spaces, that's on you. The reaction on the Elizabeth Public Department's Facebook page has ranged from pretty cool and fines should be higher to assailing a tyrannical police state. In response, the department wrote, "We are just trying to save lives, not trying to be Big Brother. By being Big Brother, we're not trying to be Big Brother. By being Big Brother, we're not Big Brother." Doesn't make it... Come on, guys. Don't pee on me and tell me it's raining while I'm watching you literally pee on me. If this plan saves one life, then it's worth it. No, it's not. If you spend millions of dollars and you save one life, it wasn't worth it. Sorry. Unless you're saving, I don't know. But no, it's not worth it. It's not worth taking people's rights and personal privacy away because you think you might save one life. How are you going to determine if you saved a life? It doesn't make any sense. That's the problem with taking freedoms away when it's something as abstract as a pandemic. Because you don't know if, we're going to lock down. Oh my God, spikes occurred after the lockdown because now everybody's congregating inside in these tightly confined areas, and they go to work and they're just getting each other sick inside a home because they're not outside breathing fresh air. They're breathing the same recycled air that has COVID in it. Come on, people. All the drones are doing is spreading an automated notice about keeping your social distance. There is no recording and no pictures being taken. It is a tool of encouragement to follow the rules. I doubt it. Fair enough. We understand the privacy concerns that surveillance robots could be used for overexpanding purposes, like recording video over a political rally. Like recording video over a political rally. We shouldn't be using this moment to rehearse for some sort of dystopia, as Karen Thompson of the ACLU of New Jersey argues. She has a point. We must guard against any such mission creep. No, that's exactly what this is being used for. You see people being canceled just for having been at a Trump event. Just for having been at a rally, they are getting canceled. Not participating in a rally, just for possibly having a photo that said, "Make America Great Again," wearing a red hat, saying that they couldn't vote for Biden because they couldn't vote for a senile old man who is a racist and a segregationist. And they couldn't vote for a vice president who used a loophole in the 12th Amendment to keep black men locked up longer than they're supposed to, suppress evidence for black men who were on death row that could exonerate them, so she can use them as slave labor to fight California wildfires. Perhaps I would vote for Trump because the Democrat ticket was so horrible. But no, it means you're a maggot, or however they want to call it. And you should be canceled because you didn't vote blue no matter who. This is getting bananas. This is America. We need to treat it as such. If you don't protect your freedoms, the government is more than willing to take your freedoms away. So I don't know if I'm going to post up a third video today. If I do, I'll drop it in a couple hours. If not, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Have a good one.